Based on the August Wilson Pulitzer-prize winning play, The Piano Lesson is the story of a piano, really. It's owned by one family, one former slave family, I should say, and the brother and sister who are currently fighting over said piano. So let me set this up a little bit with story. It's 1911, and three brothers steal a piano from a slave owner, Sutter, in this southern town where they're from. They steal this piano, take off into the night, and one of the brothers doesn't make it. He gets essentially apprehended, we'll say, in violent fashion. Years later, it's 1937, and a brother and sister, Boy Willie, make sure I've got their names right, Boy Willie and Bernice, are quarreling over whether they should sell the family piano they've got or keep it, because this family piano has been handed down to them from generations, from their parents who stole the damn thing, right? Who carved it, who crafted it, because this isn't just a piano stolen from a slave owner, it's one that was particularly fond of and taken care of and crafted to contain all of this family's legacy in its carvings, right? Like their grandmother is imposed on there, and one of them is shown the sun, and they've got these ornate wood carvings all over the thing. It's particularly important. And Boy Willie says, look, I've got to sell the piano to get our family farm and to start our fortune, right? I can build something here, and this piano is going to be the thing that funds me buying the land to get the farm. And Bernice, the sister, says, absolutely not. This is everything we have left. This is everything left of our family, and if we sell that, there's nothing left of them except us and what we remember. I'm not selling. It's a thing. It's a story about an object that has multiple shapes for the people around it. And it's fascinating because outside of these two characters, we've got a couple of uncles, right? We've got a whining boy, played by Michael Potts, and Doker, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who are a lot of fun and offer a lot of color to the performance. Additionally, we've got Ray Fisher as Lyman and Corey Hawkins as Avery, two external characters who are a delight. And of course, I should say Boy Willie's played by John David Washington, and Bernice is played by Danielle Deadwyler. The film is directed by Malcolm Washington, Denzel Washington's son, starring his brother, John David Washington. Andy, what do you think of The Piano Lesson?
Well, I wanted to first say that Denzel Washington has taken on this task of he wants to make film versions of August Wilson's play. He's already done this with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which we reviewed on the show, Fences, which I swear we reviewed on the show, but apparently not. I have seen that, though. And this is now the third one, The Piano Lesson. So he's kind of on a mission to get these made into film. Like many plays to film adaptations, it's a bit of a struggle because it's a lot of people in the same rooms, but it is incredibly well acted. We do have these different conflicts. You have John David Washington. He really wants to sell his piano and get some land, get it into the family, farm it. I know how to farm it, but there's sentimental value, there's history. Their parents and other relatives, their faces are carved into the piano. There's blood in the piano. And the other thing this movie does, which a lot of these plays do, is they bring up issues within specifically the Black community and things about women's expectations. There's a preacher character played by Corey Hawkins, just a lot of different things. And I think one of the things that's most startling is how nonchalant they will talk about very horrible things, which is probably very true to life. They'll be like, oh yeah, we were all hanging out, and then no, they caught our friend and they lynched him, and we never saw him again. But I think I might get a new job on Tuesday. It's just like this very kind of, it's probably how a lot of oppressed people have had to discuss things. They are what they are. I think the performances are all stellar. I feel like John David Washington is a little bit in over his head. Everyone else just seems a little bit more seasoned on this kind of stage adaptation.
The tone, I think, is really what works well for me in this movie. Like, it's a particularly dark film. Like, you're right. Like, not only in conversation and presentation of like our family's history and where they come from, but also like the time they live in. Like, Boy Willie has come from the South, like from this farm that he kind of works with Lyman, his friend. And they talk about like just barely escaping down there. Lyman got shot in the stomach. Like, bad things have happened to them in the time they currently live in. And Doker and Whining Boy, they are both kind of the uncles. They are both cynical. They are both over it. They have been around the bend. They are trying to just stay out of it and get by best best they can. Meanwhile, Bernice is like trying desperately to hold things up for her young daughter, like to try to get dressed nice for Corey Hawkins across the street, the preacher, who again is really funny. Everybody's got their own unique silhouette in this play. And Quinta Brunson, I think is how you say her name, the creator of Abbott Elementary, the television show. She has a great interview where she talked about writing and writing unique characters. She said the best way to know how you write a unique character is if you dropped a $5 bill in the middle of your stage, every character in your scene should pick up that bill differently and do something differently in it. One might pick it up and be self-righteous. Hey, I've got to return this. Another might pick it up and say, hey, this is mine. I found this. Lucky me. Somebody might say this is a gift from God, right? Like this came down from the universe. And somebody else might say, hey, somebody could have lost this. We should take this seriously, guys. And that is our piano. Our piano is our $5 bill, and every character in this film has a different relationship with it. Doker, Samuel L. Jackson, wants nothing to do with it. Wants to wash his hands with it. He helped his brother steal it, and my God, his brother died for it. Whining Boy learned how to play piano. He actually gained a skill from this thing, and also is on the other side of his career and also wants nothing to do with it because that piano brought him nothing but trouble, right? All the fame brought drink and brought debt, and it's bad. Bernice sees the value, the heritage of this thing. She wants to keep it. Boy Willie thinks it's the only legacy he's got and wants to try to sell it so he can build something with it, right? Like everybody has a different idea of where this thing should go. And most fascinatingly, on top of really fun cinematography from director Malcolm Washington, I love the way he will lock the camera to the piano when the piano moves. The piano gets a point of view. It's kind of amazing, and you would never get that in the stage adaptation. Like it's specific thought to how to adapt this into film that is good and is thoughtful and gives this film personality, like much more so than the typical Netflix adaptation. I'm really pleased to say The Piano Lesson rises above what we normally see on the platform. This one is good. This is a good movie, at least for the first half. Because admittedly, I did start to fall off in kind of what would be part two of the play, I think, after intermission.
So one aspect of the story is the landowner, James Sutter, has died. He's fallen down a well, and it's kind of suspicious, and it's kind of implied that maybe he was pushed in that well, and maybe it was by Boy Willie. But the ghost of Sutter is also haunting this house. People see images and flashes of him upstairs, doors slam, windows close, and so that's something else that's kind of overhanging a little bit of a supernatural part of this. And that's the other thing, is that our characters are very flawed. They're not perfect people just because they happen to be an oppressed people. Like we said, Whining Boy definitely has a drinking problem. There's more. There's womanizing. Like I just said, it's implied that Boy Willie pushed someone down the well, and it seems like lots of people have been getting pushed down wells. So it's another aspect to the story. It makes our characters more complicated, and our story about this looming something is kind of overhanging this family that they need to resolve to be able to move on.
Yeah, like it's a story about a group of people who are very desperately struggling, and the unique ideas a couple of them have on how to get out of it and how to get each other to agree or go along or stand up for yourself and say, hey, no, this isn't the right way. And also in the middle of that, there is also some unique paranormal things happening, which I didn't expect. And I think probably plays better in the play. In the movie, like the first half of it, you get a little bit of the paranormal stuff, which is exciting, honestly, and kind of locks you in because I didn't expect it to go there tonally. And then the second half, it plays a bit more of a part. And I was almost a little disappointed because I so much enjoyed just the drama of Danielle Deadwyler and John David Washington having it out. Like the whole first act of this film is like a I don't know, like a hot plate. Like it's just getting hotter and hotter, and the water is starting to boil, and you know it's going to happen. They're going to have this conflict, and they finally get into it at the end of Act 1, and it's awesome. I swear to God, Washington's like channeling his dad. It's coming through, dude. I can feel it. Danielle Deadwyler is blowing the hinges off the scene. Like she's so great in it, right? And then it goes to where we feel like the midpoint of the movie would be. We kind of get into our intermission. And the second half, this has to start to wrap up. We have to start to curb our conflict back in. And part of the problem is Piano Lesson is tracking conflict that is simply too large for a play to handle. Like, so it's difficult to find resolution for characters that are clearly struggling. How do you wrap up a play where everybody is in pain and the pain is generational and it's deep? I think it does a creative kind of thing at the end. I don't know. I didn't expect it to go there. But I enjoyed the first half so much more than the second. And I feel like if I had gone and seen the play, that's how I'd feel. I'd come out of intermission and been like, that's amazing. I can't wait to see part two. And then I'd be like walking in my car like, part two is all right. Part one, though, is a banger. And like that first hour really glues you in, like in a way that most Netflix films don't. I'm really impressed from Malcolm Washington here. Great feature debut.
Yeah, this is another one that's going to be up for awards nominations. Like I said, the acting it's like a who's who cast, and it is great to see John David Washington do something that's smaller, do something that really kind of probably stresses his acting chops. He's done major films, worked with Chris Nolan, and the stage is different, and so this is kind of forcing him to do something a little bit different. But the performances all around are incredible.
Yeah. Understated music, big visuals for what's here, and I'm impressed at the bouncing between like lockdown tripod shots in this film and then like handheld for flashback. Makes it feel homey, makes it feel unique, like gives it a sort of energy to it. And I guess I'm really impressed at the resets, dude. Like they are constantly resetting the camera to move over here, to shoot over Jackson's shoulder, to shoot like this look at Boy Willie's throwing at Bernice. Like real good stuff, man. Like thoughtful adaptation of a stage play, like more so than I think like I kind of struggled with like The Color Purple because so many of those musical numbers are just like right out of the play. We're just going to set the camera and shoot it. This gets a lot more involved, feels a lot more intimate. And while it doesn't necessarily feel like it's made for film, it definitely still feels like a stage adaptation. It's a great outing from Washington. It's hard to believe this is his first feature. Looking forward to what he does next. He probably needs to get into horror. They should put him in theaters. I would have liked to have seen this on the screen. I think it would have helped too. Like seeing it at home is good, but dude, Piano Lesson rocks. Any other thoughts or recommendations, Andy?
I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend The Piano Lesson?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of kind of the best films I think I have seen all year. It's an adaptation of a classic play, Pulitzer-prize winning play. He also won the Pulitzer for Fences as well. So, but it's an incredible work, and it's again this thing that Denzel Washington is doing with bringing these alive to film is really incredible. But great performances. Important kind of subject matter. It's a little long at a full 2 hours, and definitely feels like a play, but highly recommend.
Yeah, I think Piano Lesson's good. I think it's a good one to throw on. It's got sauce, dude. Like in a way I didn't expect. Like I kind of sat down and threw this on, like got my phone out, hopped on Twitter for the first minute or two. I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. And like just from kind of its opening moments, I was like, all right, big visuals, this is good. And before I knew it, like 25 minutes had gone by. I was like, okay, all right. Like there's something going on here. This is a good Netflix feature. Like it's not bad. Piano Lesson's a good time. Would recommend. Give it a go if you're looking for something quieter, something unique. Kind of stay in and do something different movie. Like not a bad time. Good performances. That's The Piano Lesson. And that's Off Script episode 276. Good Lord. I'm predicting we're going to have to come back in January and make maybe a couple adjustments to the top 10. We might have to move a couple things around depending on what happens this Christmas because there's supposed to be some bangers. What are we watching next week, Andy?
So we're actually off until the new year. We'll be back January 7th, so taking a few weeks off here. But we'll be back with Nosferatu, which comes out Christmas Day. Also A Complete Unknown, which is the Bob Dylan biopic. Also Christmas Day. So those will be the two. Some FYI releases. This Friday we have Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Mufasa the Lion King both coming out on December 20th. Those are going to go head to head. Baby Girl, which is the Nicole Kidman, Harris Dickinson, not rom-com, but romantic drama movie that comes out Christmas Day as well, if you're looking forward to that. And we'll be back with maybe our most anticipated of 2025 to talk about. But next time you hear us, we'll have Nosferatu and A Complete Unknown. That's
going to be a banger episode, like wall to wall gas. I can't wait. It's going to be great. So yeah, stick around for that. If you want to get a notification when that episode goes live, easiest way to do that is just hit the bell icon. If you're on YouTube, I think it's down that way. Of course, you can subscribe to Off Script to get episodes delivered straight to your phone as soon as they come out. You can subscribe on audio services, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia. Love our audio listeners. You can subscribe on YouTube where you see the video version of the show. Always a great time on video. We got live looks at articles and trailers and us. You can see our ugly mugs. It's great. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. So I'll speak for myself. My ugly mug. Excuse me, Andy. You're good. You look great. Twitter, TikTok. We're on all the usual social media places. And you can follow us over there. Check out our website, offscriptfilmreview.com. And you can email us correspondence direct at offscriptfilmreview, mail at offscriptfilmreview.com. What an episode. My God, this ran longer than I meant for it to, but it's fine. It's got the top 10 of the year in there. It's a good time. From all of us at Offscript, the home Bolt Cinema. Here's 2024. My God, what a year. And thanks for listening. Offscript, the home of Bolt Cinema. I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for listening.